Welcome back, everybody, to the second half. Fractured Orders, episode 6. Glad you all could be here. Without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. We're going to see if our crew is back.
Hey, you know what my favorite type of lemonade is? Moist. I think that was a bad joke. I'm sorry.
Jax draws his moist blaster pistol.
I mean, I know you love that thing, but that might be a little too much.
Now it's dirty. Now it's dirty. Now you can use that word as a dirty word, but not if you're referring to a muzzle.
So we've learned what turducken is, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Dash flies his moist ship. Or rides his moist ship, no?
Yeah.
Alright, so moist should only be used for food,
Moist.
not physical objects.
Moist GM.
That's highly inappropriate.
So to get
Sorry.
it back on track,
Please.
we had just seen Dash and Zian have an interesting interaction with a refugee family, basically, right? In the cafeteria
Specifically
area.
the boy.
Yeah, specifically the young boy who, if this game goes on for 5 more years, will be a major character.
Yeah.
He'll be called what?
You laugh, but I actually have a name for him already, so it's fine.
Alright.
So, interesting interaction, and I think probably a good place to kind of leave that and go back over to Kin. Your repairs have been completed. You have your new what is the like internal like what is the HUD display start registering for? Like, do you see everything in purple now, or what?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think it's just the outside. It's different for it. It's being compensated for on the
Gotcha.
inside.
I think Ken is more like a pistol shrimp, and he sees colors that none of us see.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
Such a random creature draw. Oh, you know, it's just like a pistol shrimp. What?
Yeah, they can see like lots more spectrums of colors than humans.
Yep.
Today I learned.
The more
TIL.
you know.
TIL. So it's time for, like, I assume the group maybe to get back together. The gang to all get back together and figure out what they want to do.
Kai had mentioned, or had kind of gesticulated to me, that he was heading to the cantina with Dash. So I think Jax, after like reassembling his pistol, making sure everything is as it should be, and not and there's been no tinkering with it, he goes to the other two, seeing the repairs are done, says, "Hey, the other two went to the cantina. We should probably go meet up with them."
So just a question: the wounds for Kin, am I completely repaired, or am I just outside?
So you still need to that was the repair of the critical injury, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll still need to do the other repairs, which let me. Yeah, you'd have to like maybe get like an oil bath, or you'll recover like naturally as well, right? Like your self-repairing routines will begin to recover naturally, but I think that's at like a is that like 1 a day or something like that?
1 a day, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll still have to do all of that, or like I said, find some sort of oil bath. Now you could probably get an oil bath here, but also that's one of those things, right? That like that'll put you out of commission for the time that you're inside of it, right?
Yeah. All right.
So it's something you could find to recover your actual wounds. But for now, I think that you've got the critical injury is gone.
Yeah.
So, right. So the group of you that was in the mechanic shop, you begin to head off towards the cafeteria area, and when you arrive, Dash, are you doing like the lean back, like pat your belly because you've eaten so much good food?
No, not really. I mean, I didn't eat that much, so he's kind of like Maybe talking with Cyan about something like idle chatter.
Okay, yeah. So the group kind of coalesces in that area. What's the next step for you guys? You've gotten repairs, and again, to stress this, you don't have like an escort or anything. They're kind of just like letting you walk around.
Hey, can we leave?
I'm thinking heading back to the ship and maybe touching base with RK is a good next step. So
I think that's a good next step too. Also, I don't like this place.
and
So
Jack,
hearing that, Kin will definitely bring an arm and a leg workshop. Just walking straight out and walking over there and grabbing one and
Sure.
back.
I don't think they stop you, no.
Jax looks at Mouse like kind of inquisitively and goes, "What do you like about this place? I'm actually getting a really good vibe."
Ugh. It reminds me of home.
Jax like raises an eyebrow, being like kind of like saying like, "Do you want to elaborate?" but not pushing it either.
I mean, it reminds me of the salvaging ship. All these dirty-faced people trying to fight to survive. It sucks, and I don't want to be here.
Fair enough. Should we see if we can get on that transport and go back into the ship? We should probably talk to the woman in charge before we leave.
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
Is Kaylee still around?
Yeah, so you could like ring the intercom and like find her. She gave you like the ability to locate her. So you can do that, and then like perhaps after a few minutes she arrives and she kind of like looks around for a moment and she sees you and she comes over and she says, "Ah, I see you all have found your way back to the cafeteria. What can I do for you?"
We still don't know their leader's name, right?
Henkar. She gave it to you.
Henkar. Okay. We were thinking we might head back into Coronet, but we wanted to check with Henkar first, and thank her for her hospitality.
Oh, well, you've been given authorization to leave whenever you wish. I can coordinate a transport for you, and about meeting with Henkar, I'm not sure if she is still here, but I can certainly check, and if, at worst case, pass along a message.
Or we could just leave.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna let someone else take that one. Jax has no opinion on the matter.
No, I guess we should say at least goodbye. I mean, Liberty Road, I guess.
Would you check if she is here and ask her to meet us at the ship?
Yes, certainly I can. One moment. And she just like, she kind of steps over to like the intercom panel. And you can see like, she types in like, what is clearly like a personal code. And she like sends a message. And she kind of just like sits there for a moment. And then you hear the panel like lights up again. And she looks at it and she says, "Oh, I see. Well, it appears that Henkar has had some other business that has tied her up, but she wishes you well and prays that you will think on your conversation earlier. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I assume that you know."
Tell her that it pertains to the conversation earlier.
Oh, yes, I can certainly do that. And yeah, you see she walks back over to the comm panel and she like, probably types in something like, "They're very insistent and they say that they need to speak with you about that conversation, etc., etc." Right? And there's a few moments that pass and she nods and she says, "Very well. I am to give you one of her personal communication lines, so you may speak with her. Fortunately, she's not available for a face-to-face conversation at this time." And she kind of like holds out her hand for your compad, Deanne.
Okay. Hand it.
Yeah, she takes it and adds a contact in there.
Okay.
And it's just under the name Henkar, and it's like a communications contact where you could like call her directly.
Okay. So I guess I'll just kind of try and call her up and explain kind of the situation that we want to seek the advice of the individual who has been involved and see what he, because it pertains a lot to him. So
oh right, that you're going to go like talk to RK
Yes.
and find out what he wants. Okay, yeah, sure, absolutely. So yeah, I think that it's like a live conversation. And when you like connect to her, I think that you hear like there's a lot of like wind noise in the background. She sounds like she's like on a speeder, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Like somewhere else on the planet. And she says back to you, she says, "Very well, that's fine. Whatever you think you need. As I said before, you are free to leave. Unless we have further business."
we hope to have a better answer as soon as possible.
Very well, I understand. You can use this number to contact me again.
Okay. We will contact you as soon as we have more information.
Yeah, and I think there's just like a pause, and then she says, "Yes, I hope to hear from you soon," and kind of ends the
Yeah.
transmission there.
Yeah, and just kind of relay everything, and make the observation that it sounds like she's going somewhere. Sounds like she's on some sort of vehicle with an exposed cockpit of some sort.
All right, so let's head on out.
Yeah, let's go home.
Absolutely. So, you talk to Kaylee, and she says, "Yes, we can certainly have transportation arranged. She kind of like does the math. She's like, 5 of you. Yes, should be no problem. If you'd like to follow me over to the docking bays." And she kind of like, leads you outside and down to the docking bays, and she leads you over to like a fleet of land speeders. And a couple of them are like clearly in various levels of like disrepair. And she she grabs like one of the guys who's just kind of like, in fact, as you walk into the hangar area, she probably like bends down and like shakes this guy like gently on his shoulder. He's like sleeping with like a hat over his face, and he kind of like startles awake, and he's like, "Oh, God's woman, my head, it hurts. What do you want?" And she's like, "Sir, it's we need a transport for some individuals back to the city. If it's not too much trouble." And he kind of like through like he's like pinching like massaging his eyes, and he kind of like opens one and looks at you, looks at the group of you, and he says, "Fine, all right. Just give me like a couple of minutes to get everything set up." And he kind of like stands up, like kind of creaks and like stretches and raises his hand, and you can see that he's obviously maybe like sleep deprived or on a hangover or something. And he just like begins kind of walking around and doing like an inventory of the couple of speeders that are left in the in the shop. And I think that Kaylee probably looks at you and she says, "Yes, well, yes, Jared will be more than sufficient in getting you back. He knows the ways better than most, even. He'll be able to take you back to Coronet safely."
Thank you.
Is he gonna like fall over asleep or anything?
Oh, no, he's perfectly fine. He just likes to take naps sometimes, as we all do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hopefully not while driving.
Oh no, he's a fine driver. So, he kind of does an inventory, like finds a speeder. He like looks at the group of you again and like counts manually, like okay. And he like looks at a speeder that's way too small, and then he looks at a speeder that's like a 15 troop transport, and he's like, that's not gonna work. And he finds one that's kind of like your generic kind of like open decked speeder, and he kind of goes to a board and looks at a bunch of keys, and he like picks one out and kind of like looks at it and puts it back, and he picks another one out and he nods his head, and he goes over and he cranks the speeder to life, and the low hum though begins to start up, and you see he gets like a leather cap helmet, like a skull helmet, and he like puts it on, and he like has some goggles that he like adjusts and puts on his face, and he hops in the driver's seat, and he just kind of like looks expectantly at the group of you.
Before I get on the speeder, can I kind of make a mechanics check to see, like, just to kind of hear like how the speeder sounds?
Sure.
Like, is it a death trap?
Why don't you go ahead and make a mechanics check, since you're just like
Okay, I'm sorry if I roll too early.
No, average is what I was gonna give you anyway.
Okay. Lots of triumph.
Can I check it as well? I mean, I'm kind of like professional with vehicles as well. Can I try?
Yeah, sure. If you want to roll a mechanics check, sure. Mouse. So you get a lot of advantage. You don't succeed, so like you don't hear anything wrong with the speeder. But in fact, I think that you you could reduce some strain or something with that.
Yeah,
but
I'll just reduce strain.
Yeah, you could also use one of those to pass it to pass a blue dice to
Nah,
Dash.
I don't think I need to. Like, it was more like a one-off joke sort of situation.
Yeah.
Like, is this thing gonna
Well, yeah,
explode
and
on
so
me?
like I think that you're relieved, right? Like when you hear that nothing appears to be wrong with it, you're like, oh yeah, it's no problem, and that's the strain reduction as well, right? But
Yeah.
Dash, if you want to make a roll, you can also roll as well.
I don't know nothing about speeders.
Yeah, no.
Just checks.
Again, you can reduce a strain if you'd like. But for you as well, you're like, oh no, everything sounds fine, totally fine.
Yep.
And he's like,
Before roll a new character.
yeah, exactly. He's like, so y'all getting in, or am I making this trip by myself?
Well, I want to.
Yeah, Jax will get in. He'll get in. I'm assuming there's like a seat next to the driver.
Yeah. There's like a passenger seat, and then there's probably like 2 rows to fit everybody.
Jax
You
will
can
get in
make
the
the trip
passenger.
by yourself if you wanted, but you have to come back and make the trip again because we have to go.
So Kin will enter and just knock on the hull just to see if it sounds solid.
Conk,
Yeah.
conk.
Yeah.
Once everybody else is
exactly.
in, I'll get in. I was being polite.
Yeah,
get
of
in.
course. So you all get in. No problem.
And it blows up.
And then it blows up.
and then
Everybody
it
makes new characters.
It explodes. No. So he puts his goggles and he like straps them and adjusts them, and he kind of like backs out the speeder and he turns it around. And you see Kaylee, she just kind of waves at you and she's like, "Have fun." And he kind of like the driver, Jared. He kind of like looks. He's like, "Is everybody buckled up?" And then before he can answer, he just hits the gas, and like everybody's kind of like thrown into like the back of their seat a little bit, and the speeder just goes like careening off into the dense jungles of Corellia on its way back to Coronet. And this is like the part of this would be the part of the like if this were like a TV show, right? This would be the part of the TV show where like we see everybody like praying and like holding on to things, and like as the guy's just like flying, just like blazing through the dense forest. It might be exhilarating for some as well. Like Dash, you might be having a great time.
Yeah.
Since you're kind of.
I think Jax would be quite enjoying this. He's been in some high speed pursuits in his time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Excuse me. So, as you all are on your way back to back to Coronet, is there any like conversation that happens, like, or is everybody just kind of silently riding along?
Jax isn't going to be saying anything to. So he would make idle conversation maybe, but at the end of the day, there's a guy driving us who can hear everything, who like we don't know, so he wouldn't be saying anything too like important.
Right.
Mouse is more hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
There's not really much you can say when you're hanging on for dear life.
There is not a whole terrible amount you can say when you're hanging on for dear life. That is true.
Is Mouse hanging on to the speeder or to Kin?
To the speeder.
So, as the group of you continues down your assigned path, eventually the speeder begins to slow and he doesn't go quite as fast, and he probably turns and he looks at the group of you and he says, sorry about that. I just wanted to get away as fast as possible. I
can understand. That place was a dump.
Yeah, and he kind of like nods and agrees with you, and he's like, yes, I only work there because they pay good, really.
Well, I mean, you're not forced to work there, like.
And he kind of like looks and he's like, well, it's at least better than killing for hire. Am I right?
Mouse kind of looks at Jax.
Yeah, do you say anything, Jax? No? No? Is Jax there? Hello, Jax?
Oh, sorry. I got distracted. Say that again, please.
Let's say, do you say anything about like when he says it's better than killing for hire?
No.
All right.
Jax doesn't necessarily kill for hire. He just kills as part of hire.
Got it. Makes sense.
Sometimes he's hired and killing happens. And
Yeah, exactly.
Hired.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anymore.
Mouse still kind of side glances in Jax's direction when the driver says that, though.
Of course. Why wouldn't you side glance in Jax's direction?
I mean, he is a scary killer guy.
That is basically his job, yes.
I shoot gun good. Doesn't mean always to kill. Legs. Other body parts.
Anyway.
Anyway. To the Dashmobile. I mean,
yeah. So as you guys are, as the group of you are flying through, right? He begins to talk about like his time on Corellia. You know, he's a native. He's very talky now that he's more awake. But he grew up, and there's probably a point at which like he slows the speeder down like really, really far, and he's like basically just like kind of idling. And he like starts pointing out like in the trees, he's like, you know, you see that marking, that, you know, that belongs to this beast, and you know, up, you know, if we were to go like over in that area, that's the area where the Bloodhawks mostly hang out, and he's just talking about like a bunch of creatures with like.
Can't stop him! He's giving another tour.
It's quite enlightening.
Yeah, no friends here.
Indeed.
Oh.
So as he's flying through, he does get to a point where he stops talking, and he says to the group of you, He says, "Okay, here's the deal. There's an area that we're about to come to that, well, there's some... Well, it's... You see, I was talking earlier about the Bloodhawks. Well, what I didn't say is it's actually their mating season, and they can be quite aggressive if we don't go through quiet and silently. So just try and keep your voices down. If worst case scenario...
Speed through? We're in a speeder.
Yes, worst case scenario, I could do that, but I'd rather not disturb them, you understand. We don't want them to end up on the endangered species list.
Stealth check? Maybe?
Not yet, no. What does everyone say when he says that?
Jax just kind of shrugs, but does like take out his pistol and just check it over, make sure
Wait.
everything is in order.
What?
Couldn't we just go around?
Be a very large territory.
Yeah, I mean, he says he's like, we could try, but it's no telling how far they can. You do understand that they fly.
Yeah, I mean, they can follow us. That's understanding flying at some degree.
How does anyone get anything done on this planet if there's a bunch of wild animals that just attack speeders?
I've heard of this mythical place called Australia.
Is Corellia Space Australia now?
I mean, it basically has always been Space Australia.
Yeah,
If you read anything about Corellia, it basically is Space Australia.
Hi, mate. This is Dash here.
Yeah, exactly.
Dash is Australian canon.
Perfect.
I thought it was more like Space Texas.
Space Texas. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Howdy, partner.
So
I tried to change.
he begins to like kind of move slowly through through this area that he's talking about, right? And the group of you are just kind of sitting there, and the minutes kind of begin to pass, right? 1 minute turns into 5 minutes, and you're all just kind of like sitting there silently, and let's see, who would probably be the most well adept? I actually think Kin. Can you roll me a cool check, please?
Okay, yeah.
Hold on, let me set up the roll here. It's gonna be an easy roll. But go ahead and roll me a cool check. Okay. So
I have two yellows in cool, FYI.
So yeah, I wanted specifically for Kin in this scenario.
Oh, okay.
So Kin, you're flying by. You're kind of gliding. I assume you're like in the back, right? Because you're big and you take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, you hear this noise, and it sounds like it's like something striking on metal. And you look on your shoulder, and there's like a big dollop of just bird poop on your shoulder now.
Yeah.
And you look up, and I think everybody at the same moment also looks up, and you see that in the canopy above you, there's a flock of these blood red hawks that are kind of just like looking down at you now in the speeder. And the driver, Jared, he kind of like looks around, and he kind of like turns to all of you and like makes this motion where like he's like grabbing above his shoulder and then like putting down by his waist, and then grabs above his shoulder and puts down by his waist.
Buckle.
And
Perception check? Maybe? I don't know.
I mean, like, so I'm
gonna assume that means buckle up.
Yeah, that's kind of the motion he's making.
I would Dash slowly does that. Just keeping his eye on the hawks.
Yeah,
I don't think Cyan would have ever unbuckled.
No, I wouldn't have either.
Yeah, perfect. So as you begin to like slowly move the buckle into place, you hear from under the brush, you hear like a rustling and rattling, and this little like mouse-like creature like pops into view, and all of a sudden the scene is thrown into chaos. And since we haven't spent one yet because we haven't made that many rolls, I'm gonna use a dark side point to put you guys in this scenario.
Ooh.
The Bloodhawks begin to swarm down upon this, and then also you. So why doesn't everybody go ahead and hold on 1 second. Okay, cool. Why doesn't everybody go ahead and roll initiative for me? It's going to be... I will let you choose whatever one you want. Whichever one is better for you in this scenario. Be it prepared or unprepared. Holy shit, kid.
Boom!
Try, of course.
That shouldn't be prepared.
Oh shit.
Well, the dices are insane this eve. I'm going. Wait. Yeah. I got 3. I got 3 success. I'm gonna suffer a strain
Okay.
using rapid reaction. I'm pretty sure that's the tailing. Give me 1 second. Where would that be? Under. Oh, where's that under? Is that under combat? Rapid reaction. Suffer a number of strain. To add equal number of success. I only have 1 rank, so I can only do it once. So yeah, I would become a 4.
Okay, cool.
I'm the 3-0.
Alright. Certainly. Let me, actually going to... I'm gonna make a little bit of a map here, so you guys can see exactly what's going on. Feels important for immersion purposes. Corellia starts with the letter C. Okay, awesome. The immersion. Very important. It's almost as important as the lore, if we're being fair.
The lore is the most important thing.
Fantastic. So you're gonna make the 3-0 a 4-0, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So
Which I realize now didn't achieve anything.
it did not achieve much.
Oops.
That's okay. They just rolled like ridiculously good there.
Yeah.
Everybody rolled ridiculously good.
It's true, yeah, there were a lot of different things. So this is the general like area that you're in, right? There's like a canopy of trees. You can see the birds. Just imagine they're red. They're kind of swarming all over you.
Stargate.
There's a Stargate. yeah, exactly. There's a lot of stuff going on, man.
That's a fantasy
Indeed.
star.
It is. So let's see here. Also, just for fun, let's go ahead and get your tokens on the map. That's always the most fun part. Is always seeing the wounds go up, right?
Mm.
You don't sound like that's the most fun part for you.
No,
Usually because she has to fix it.
I don't like being in direct combat.
It's okay. You can just hide. Totally
In the car, yeah.
Talking about turduckens is what run this.
In England, we call it a 3-bird roast.
Yep, that's what they call them.
Excellent. So, they're gonna swarm down upon you, and I'm actually just gonna they're swarming. So I'm actually just gonna randomize. I'm gonna roll a 1d6 to see who they're attacking. Oh, okay. They're going immediately after who is first in the character list. Zian, you're the first one that they're going to swarm down upon.
Oh boy.
And attempt to attack here. Now all they do is brawl and do damage. Let me add their weapon in here real quick. So these things
And there's 3 groups of them.
attack with their beaks. There's 3 groups of them, correct? So they do 2 damage, 4 critical. Yeah, and there's just so you're aware as well. There's 3 groups of 4 basically that you're dealing.
Cool.
Here. Qualities.
So does a triumph not help in initiative?
Nah. Just
Oh.
counts success, I think. Maybe
No,
breaks ties.
it could be used for specifying something that could be to your advantage in the area, or maybe do an action before initiative starts.
Right.
Just the most
Correct.
common use.
Okay, so they're going to attack you, Zian. It's just an average attack because they don't get any kind of bonus because you don't have any kind of like weapon out or anything like that. And they're just gonna beat at you with their beaks. Engage. Roll. Oh, they miss. Okay, fantastic. So that's
Alright.
gonna be it for their turn. So the first PC can go, whichever
I'm
one would
gonna-
like to go.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna use quick draw. I have it improved, so I can use it twice. So I'm gonna draw both my pistols,
Okay.
and I'm gonna fire at either of the groups that have not yet gone.
Sure, absolutely. So they're at short range from you, which is going to be an easy shot. They do have 1 range defense, though. So
What
there
does
is a
that mean?
black dice applied here.
Okay, cool. I also get 2 blue dice
Okay.
because I have 2 ranks of quick strike. Add a boost dice per rank of quick strike to combat checks against targets that have not yet acted.
Yep, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you can aim.
And I'm going to aim as well, so I'll take another boost dice.
Yep.
Cool. I'm ready.
Yeah, go for it. Nice.
Nice.
So,
That's some damage.
yeah, and you can apply the damage of your second weapon, right? It
So
takes,
I'm gonna apply the damage of my second weapon, which takes 2 of my
Yep.
advantage. The 4 I have remaining, is there any point in me critting
I mean,
against minions?
they're just minions, so probably not. To be fair.
So with crit for minions, usually just means
kills
that
one of them.
die, kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just immediately takes one of them out.
Alright, so I'll do that.
Okay.
Might as well.
Cool.
And then I have 1 left, so I'll recover a strain. Right? You can use 1 advantage to
Yep.
recover 1 strain.
Yep, 10. And what's the
Cool.
damage of your second weapon?
Also 6.
Also 6? Okay.
Yeah.
So you do a total of 16 damage with 1 critical.
It should be the damage applies to both weapons, so it should be 2 times 10.
Really, the amount of successes apply to both?
Yeah.
I was actually unaware of that.
I love that rule.
I thought it was just I thought it just added the base damage of that weapon.
Huh.
Now I'm
That's what I thought.
99% sure.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
that's really good then. Yeah, so you do 20 damage with a critical, and you just completely wipe one of the NPCs out. Just like the 4 birds that are like kind of descending, you just and wipe them out.
Yes, mate. Sweet.
Well done. I'm just gonna delete.
Feel
this
really
and
good.
turn. Yeah, absolutely, Jax. Great job. So it's another PC turn now. Who would like to take it? Now, Kin, just remember you could technically engage with them. There's birds
Yeah.
like flocking on Zian right now that you could like start crushing with your palms if you wanted to go.
If everyone else is okay with it, I will start doing that.
Sure.
All right.
Go for it. Let me set up your roll here. So it's an average
So
check
I
just
guess
because
I'll
it's
walk
melee.
over to Cyan, or and then
You
start
like
plucking
stand up
birds
in the
out
cart.
of the wood.
Yeah. You, like stand up in the speeder as it's moving and like try to start grabbing some bird and
Yeah.
yeah. So it's an average check. I have the roll set up. Go for it.
All right.
Nice. So 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. So you wipe out most of the birds that are flocking around Zian. There's still one that's kind of floating around in the cart, or I keep calling it a cart, in the speeder. It's probably like tangled in your robe or something, Zian, and like Kin couldn't hit it because he didn't want to punch you in the sternum.
I'm gonna say just that he's disoriented because he's in the.
Yeah, absolutely. You could use your disorient for 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Seems great. Alright, so he is disoriented. The next is another NPC turn. Let me roll 1d6. Cian, coming after you, man. You must
What are
have
these things
like
related to Vornskers or something?
yeah. So they like you must have some like odor about you or something that like they're flocking to, and they're gonna bow up on you, man. And try and brawl you down. All right, let's make it an average check here. Thing ill regard. All right.
The Bloodhawks and Tarjunta were natural enemies.
All right, cool. So that's 5 damage. Now it does have Pierce 3, by the way.
Okay.
We're curious. So that ignores 3 soak, I believe.
I only have 2.
Okay. So in addition, I think stun I have to activate, so you don't have to worry about that. Let me just, that's correct. I know disorient I have to activate, but I think stun I have to. Yeah. Stun I have to activate. So I can't activate that because I didn't get any advantage there. But you do take 5 damage and it goes through 3 soak. So yeah. The next group like comes down and Kin, you're like leaning over Zian, like trying to protect him, but they're like flying in between you and just they're going at him viciously.
Yeah.
So it's another
smell like something they like.
Yeah. You must. I think that's probably like maybe there's something to that. Maybe you should look into that. So it's another PC turn here. Mouse, Zian, or Dash.
I think I'll try and go.
Okay.
So what size are these things?
They're
Like,
silhouette 0.
silhouette-wise.
You could literally throw
Yeah,
them if you
I'm
wanted
gonna
to.
try and
Like
throw.
turkey size.
Yeah, they're silhouette 0s. It specifically
I am
says silhouette 0.
To attempt to throw one of them into the other.
Yeah, basically 2 birds with 1 throw. You might say.
Yeah.
That's
Go. That is. Let me just double check what I need to make this roll.
It's like a
combat check.
ranged combat check, right? Yeah. So it's actually does it actually use agility or does it use
Let me. I think
presence
it's
or whatever?
Hold on, I have to pull that up because it doesn't clarify that much in.
Yeah, no problem. I think this is the first time you've actually used it on a thing, so that's okay. We can learn this together.
You're using move.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be a discipline check. So you basically use your discipline instead of your.
Okay, there you go.
Yep, it's.
But you can still like aim and everything else is just like a.
Okay, just like a normal range combat check. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Huh. I can aim.
Yeah. So technically, because it's a
guess
range
if
combat
that-
check, you can aim and.
Oh, that
do that
seems
kind of
weird,
stuff.
but if that's
Yeah,
allowed,
I know.
I'll aim.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing here, though, is you're using a range attack against a melee opponent. So you do get the black dice added to it as well. On the check, right? Because the range versus melee is harder to do.
Since it's
No,
engaged,
it
or-
is not. It doesn't use that difficulty.
Oh, does it use a different difficulty? What difficulty does it use?
No, it should use the same.
The attack's difficulty is equal to the silhouette of the object being thrown instead of normal. So I don't know what that would be with a silhouette 0.
Guys?
Yeah. What's up?
Never mind.
Let me look at the actual thing because I'm not 100% sure either. To be fair. You're using move, right?
Yeah, and it's the control upgrade.
Misdirect. Move. Okay. Yeah. So I think that applies to like objects. What is it? Because I think it's different when you're using it against an actual thing, right?
Well, there's no ruling in here about using
Okay, I
it
see.
against a living thing. So if we want to say that that's different, I can try and find like something small to hit it with instead. Because yeah, there's
No,
there's
you
nothing
should-
in here about.
You should absolutely.
So
be able to
basically,
do
you should just use an average difficulty, like we are using ranged light. Okay, so you're engaged with the target, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I would say. I think
Okay.
it's gonna require you to make like an attack to actually grab it, or you could, and like this is to use it against itself. You could
Okay.
like grab a rock off the ground, and then it would be an
Gotcha.
easier difficulty. Does that make sense? But I think if
Yeah.
you're actually trying to move the thing and it's actively moving as well, that's where the actual need
okay.
to aim comes into play.
Sure, we'll do that. We'll do the aim, and we'll try and throw one into another and see if we can
Okay.
damage both of them.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. So you get the boost dice. We do get the black dice because it is engaged. You're having a problem with seeing because there's a bunch of red feathers in your face.
Yeah.
So roll the thing, and then you have to also I'll add the force dice as well to it. So you can
Okay.
just roll the discipline check if you would like.
Oh, okay. Instead of using the
Yeah,
power.
I can add a force dice to the roll.
Okay.
So,
Discipline. Okay, we good?
yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Hey, and a light side.
Light
So
side.
You take a strain from like they're all up in your face and
Yep.
you're eating feathers at this point. But yeah, absolutely. So it's a strike and you deal 10 times the silhouette damage, which
With silhouette 0, it's 5.
so it's 5, right? It's half
Yep.
of it.
Yep.
But 5 is enough damage to actually kill the two birds or like knock the two birds
Yeah.
out, right? You probably don't kill
And then
them; you just get them
This
off.
is
of
where everything's a little obvious, and like, you see
Yeah.
Zian like his hand going out, aiming at one, and just like moving it like he's throwing, and the bird crashes into another.
Yeah, absolutely. And they just like they tumble out of the speeder as it's like flying and like skid across the ground. But yeah, I think that this is the one where it's hard to like hide what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Can I make Jax roll a perception check?
I don't think you need to roll
That's
one. I
not
think
really-
I think that's the point. Is like this is unable to be hidden at this point. He's
Okay.
literally being
Alright.
swarmed by birds and
Jax
trying to
is
save his
just
life.
Gonna shoot a really dirty / questioning / like angry look at the end.
And so,
Right.
so
I think Zian
Kin-
has
Kin
bigger
was-
problems, but yes, I
Yeah.
understand your look.
Yeah.
So Kin was actually trying to grab one of those birds, and he sees Zian's hand come up, and the bird suddenly changes direction, and he fumbles towards where the bird was.
Yeah, you
And
just like
he
grab
looks at
air.
birds, and Zian, and he back and forth like a few times.
Perfect. Good. Excellent. Is that it for your turn, Cian? Good.
Yeah.
As you're being swarmed by bloodhawks.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Dash or Mouse, it is your turn.
Mouse, do you have anything significant to do? Because I only got my blaster.
Yeah, I have a slug thrower, but
I mean,
Okay,
hey,
so the thing is, I know this would be a bad idea at this moment,
okay.
but where's the driver?
He's just driving, man. He's like hunched over the steering wheel, like driving as
he's
fast as
driving,
possible.
Never mind.
Yeah, he's trying to get you
question,
guys out of here.
What will take me to take out my rifle, my pistol, and
So
aim
it's a maneuver to
shooting?
take out your weapon.
I'm
If
not
you wanted to
moving
aim
anywhere.
it's a maneuver to take out your weapon. If you would like to aim it, it's another maneuver, so you would have to take the 2 strain, and then you can use an action to fire.
I'll do that. I'll take this 2 strain.
Sounds good. All right. You are not engaged, so it's just a short range shot for you.
Yep.
And you get the blue dice for aiming, so go ahead and make a shot whenever you're ready.
Just put in strain. And I actually upgraded my my short range.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
son.
that's oh, you're supposed to roll the weapon thing so that we can see the
What?
damage and everything. We'll keep that roll, but you're supposed to roll the actual weapon roll, remember? So we can see
Oh,
like
yeah,
the damage.
right.
But you're just using a
It's
regular
6
blaster, right?
damage, It's 6 damage, 3 crit.
Yeah. So it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Should I
11
roll
damage.
or-
No, you're good. Just remember to use the weapon button, not the actual range light roll.
I mean, is this sufficient or?
Yeah. It's fine. We're gonna keep this.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So
Can I
you
recover?
deal 11 damage with your
I'm gonna recover 2
with your
strain.
blast. Yeah, and recover the 2 strain that you got. Right? Sure. Sounds great.
Yep.
So yeah, you begin just like firing kind of indiscriminately, but the other flock of birds that was going to like descend down upon you guys is just like melted. It's melted all the way down till there's just like one bird that is kind of like flops onto the hood of the speeder. It's injured but not quite dead yet.
Yay! I'm helping.
So, NPC turn. I believe there are only like 2 birds left. There's one that's actively fighting Xian, and they already went. And then there's the one that's on the hood. So the one that's on the hood, it's going
But
to.
didn't I wipe one of the groups?
Yeah. There's only 2 groups left, and they each only have 1 bird.
But there's 3 left on the initiative thing.
Correct. Oh, I thought I deleted. I should have deleted this one actually. I thought I did delete that one. Okay, never mind. So it actually is your turn, Mouse. Good call. It's actually your turn, Mouse.
Okay. I don't have brawl as a weapon, so
You could just hit with your fists.
Yeah.
And it deals, I think, 2 damage space.
yeah.
That might be
something.
incorrect. But yeah,
I
it deals
guess I'll
some
just-
damage.
The base will be brawl or
I guess I'll just casually push the bird off the hood and I have the car.
Yeah.
Speeder.
Absolutely.
Like prod it up
Um,
with your gun.
Yeah, with the butt of the gun. Get off.